Hello. Today we're going to be working on some fingering issues. We're going to try to settle in the simplest way we can fingering for both the right and the left hand, and we're going to do that in that order for the chain modes exercise we've been working on. I don't imagine we'll be doing any more work on that particular exercise after this, but if I get more questions or you need more help, let me know, and we can certainly do as much as is required to make it comfortable. All right. Oh, do also note that I have at the blog posted the transcription, if you will, of the exercise itself in a very powerful and very simplified form. So it has the notes, it has the tablature, it has a very simple index and middle finger, I, M, and it's in complete perfect alternation. We'll talk about that a little more as we go, actually pretty rapidly here, because that's where we'll start. And then all of the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the left hand, we use numbers. On the right hand, we use, actually this one is A for annular, wherever that comes from. I think it's Latin. And P for thumb, I think it's pulgar, also Latin or Spanish or something. Anyway, so P, I, M, A are the fingers we use on the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Index, middle, ring, and pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see that in the notation. All right. Now, let's turn to the right hand fingering. If you go back and take a look at the lessons where I was performing the modes before, you'll see that I was using my thumb and my index and middle fingers of my right hand, which is kind of a standard structure. And we do a great deal of alternation between these two, which is something Carulli teaches. And then something else you want to understand about the right hand is that the thumb, because it centers on these three strings, the E, the A, and the D string, is basically your bass. And when we talk about something called voicing, you don't have to worry about it right now, but it's good to start planting it in your mind. You can think of the index finger as a tenor singer, the middle finger as an alto, and the ring finger as a soprano, like so. So bass down here on the C, tenor on the G, alto on the C, soprano on the E. At any rate, just put that in your mind. It will help you, and we will refer to that again. Now, working from bass against mostly our tenor and our alto, our index and our middle fingers, I and M, is the most standard format. It's kind of like your default, but it's not the simplest. Now, I did play around with using my right index finger only, my right middle finger only, to see if it was simpler. And while it is doable and maybe a very good practice, it feels a little advanced to me to get these things worked out smoothly. So what I ended up doing in order to simplify this exercise as much as possible is I got rid of the thumb and I go into strict alternation, absolutely strict. You'll see if you look at the notation. We start out on the index finger, we go to the middle finger, we alternate all the way on up, and I'll show you in just a moment. And we do that completely during the ascension. Then we return coming back in a very natural manner where we begin with the middle finger, alternate to the index coming down, and you'll see that we end up playing every note in every one of the modes in exactly the same manner in that way. And let me show you right now. I'll go very slowly and I'll call it out to you. So we start out on the Ionian 1. On our C tonic note, and we're going to begin with our right index finger for the right hand finger. So here we go. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. I'll do that for you right now a little bit faster without calling it out. Now I have a book I'll be showing you and talking to you about by a fellow named Harvey Vinson. Wonderful scales book. Back in 2011, 12, 13, somewhere in there, was when I first started doing my scales work in any serious way, and his book was my first source. Carulli gives us scales, but I wasn't able to crack his code without a little bit of help. And one of the things that Vincent teaches us when using a pick is to alternate strictly in his scales between a downstroke and an upstroke. And in this manner, when you do his scales, you end up always in the exact same manner, which is what we just did. So I kind of have to honor Vincent because I figured out for us, going up, you're going to start with your index finger, going to end on your middle finger. And if you skip any along the way, you'll know by when you get there. So let me call it out one more time. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. And it makes sense because there are 8 notes to the Ionian scale, ending up with the C on top. And so 8 divided by 2 is 4, so you hit it 4 times with your index, 4 times with your middle finger. And you're always, when you do that, you will always know where you have ended. So now let's add the Dorian, or the second degree scale. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. So that was our Ionian. Now we do the Dorian. Start with the I on the D, open D string here. I, M, I, M, I, M, I. We're not done yet. We have to finish up on the M, right? M. Okay, so that's going to be, well, you know what? I'm going to come all the way up to the top. Let's finish up so you can see the transition from the Ionian to our first degree scale, but in the next octave up, and then bring it back down. And I'll do that a couple of times, and I will call that out for you. So, starting out here on our C for our Ionian 2 scale, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. Now we come back down. I, M, I, M, I, M, I. So in the descent, it's exactly the same in reverse. We start out with the M, and we end on the I, which means that every time you strike a note, you're using exactly the same right hand finger for it. Why do we work on that so much? Why am I emphasizing that so much? It's because of this. You can get to a point of complete creativity when you forget what you're doing. But the way to get there is to understand what you're doing so completely that you practice it again and again in exactly the same manner, and you notice whenever you make a mistake and correct for that. When you do that over and over, there is a type of deep comfort that settles in. And as that comfort settles in, you get to shut off your consciously aware mind up here in your forebrain and let your body, your heart, and your hands do all the work, and they're actually doing all the thinking, maybe even all the seeing and hearing for you in a strange way. At any rate, now let's go ahead and do that one time, focusing on we'll do the whole scale through, the whole cadence of modes through, and I will call it out, and we'll go very gently. All right? So, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. I, M, I, M. I can't keep calling it out. I'm just, you know what? Enough with that. You get the right hand. Let's go to the left hand. Calling that out anymore can't do it. All right, on the left hand. I hope you will have taken a look at the chromatic work that we get directly from Crewley, which lays down the principle of 1 fret to 1 finger relationship. First fret, first finger, second fret, second finger, etc. In that chromatic work, you get answers to your fingering questions for your left hand. So now let's take a look at applying that to the diatonic scale, and we'll just do it with our Ionian 1 to get started. So we start out with our third finger on the left hand, 3rd fret here, 5th string, so A string, C note. So looking up here, it's 3. Then open D, or we'll call that an O, or 0, but O is easier to say than 0. So 3, O, 2. Middle finger, 2nd fret on the E note there. So 3, O, 2, 3, O, 2, O, 1. Let me see if I can force myself to keep doing that through the sequence here. We'll move to the Dorian though. O, 2, 3, O, 2, O, 1, 3. That was good. So Phrygian now. the E note, second finger, second fret on the 4th string here, on the D string, so E note. 2, 3, O, 2, O, 1, 3, O. Lydian, 4, the F note on the D string here, number 3. So it's the 4th degree, but it's the 3rd finger. It's a little confusing, huh? So 3, O, 2, O, 1, 3, O, 1. Mixolydian, 5th degree, but it's the open G string. So O, 2, O, 1, 3, O, 1, 3. Now we go to the Aeolian on the A note, 3rd string here, G string, 2nd finger, so 2, O, 1, 3, O, 1, 3, 4. We do the slide there this time. Then we go to Locrian, we're almost done on the way up. B here, open on the 2nd string, so O, 1, 3, O, 1, 3, 1, 3. Doing our slide all the way up from here, O, 1, 3, 1, 3, to end on the beautiful top B there. And then we complete with our Ionian 2, 1, the C note of course, on the B string here, 1, 3, O, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. Then we do the exact same in reverse. I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll be done for today. Note that I finished up on my index finger, exactly, and so I didn't emphasize that for you on the way down. I never showed that to you, but you'll be able to see it in the notation, and I think you get the idea. One last point. We note in our study of Carulli's manual that he breaks down, now this is my own analysis, but I'm certain it's right there in the work. He breaks down a kind of melodic thinking, the way we use our right hand and left hand fingering, and a harmonic or a chordal type structure that leads to a totally different kind of fingering. So in what I've just given you, this is as simplified as it can be to the best of my ability, having worked out the alternation on just these 2 fingers, but also having used a purely melodic, with no harmonies involved, no alternate fingerings like that beautiful chord. See how there's alternate fingerings in there? We used a 1-to-1 ratio, and that 1-to-1 ratio of fret to finger for the first 4 frets, and then up here, like so again, that's the key to melodic playing and making it as simple as possible. Thanks for watching.